Hi there, welcome back to BitFocus. As we have already learned about data types in our previous session, so you can find it in channel BitFocus. Today we start learning about functions in JavaScript. What are functions? So function is a block of code to do a particular task. So whenever you want to do something particular or specific in JavaScript, you can write all your codes inside a function and then call the function or use the function. So function is a block of code. It is the syntax. First of all, function, and then name of the function. So parentheses are here. Inside parentheses you can add some parameters, one or more parameters, that depends on you. Or sometimes you do not need parameters, so you cannot, so it is not required to put or to add parameters. Sometimes they are required. The number of parameters depends on you. And then open bracket, inside the bracket you put all your code here and then close it. So there are some variables which are declared inside the function. For example, if you have a function and if you have some variables inside the function, so they are local variables. Please remember, they are local variables and they cannot be accessed outside the function. Only inside the function they are accessible. And also we have global variables. Whenever you declare one or more variables outside a function, so it is a global variables. It means they are accessible anywhere in this file. And also you can return a value in your function. So what does it mean? It means that you can return a value inside your function. This value is returned anywhere the function is called or the function is used. We'll tell more about it later in our example. But we have talked about function. Why do we need to use function? Why? Function is very helpful. Please remember, function is very helpful. It can save your time, or it can be reusable. If you do not want to use function on that time, you must write your code again and again. So it takes your time, and a bunch of code or a lot of code is written again and again. So it is not a good practice. If you write a function, inside the function, if you write your code and for a particular task, anytime you need that particular task, you can only call the function. So once it is written, and it can be used again and again. It gives your time. So once we should see this, it also helps you a lot. For example, you see here, so it is a very simple example. Now you should see once because it helps you, it gives you some idea about function. For example, here we see if we press this button, we see the TV is on, and again if we press it, it is shut down or it is turned off, and again I press, so it is on. It means that this switch has two states. Anytime you press, you can on or off. So in fact, if we see, there are two functions here. One function is for turning it on and the other function is for turning it off. So if you cannot believe, we should see here. You see here function. This is a function. It is the syntax. I have talked about it in our presentations. So you see the first function is turn on, no parameters because parameters are not needed here. So function turn on, it is the first function for turning it on, and it is another function for turning it off. So you see there are two functions. Very easy. Now we close it and we should start some other example. So I work here in this. So please ignore all of them and we can start our example here. So an HTML file, we put its name func1, it means function 1. So it is an HTML file. If you are using other text editor, just add extension here .html, but because I'm using PHP Storm, so it is by default HTML. I create it. So our file is created. Please ignore all others, only focus on this directory and this file. All others are ignored here, do not worry about them. So the title, I put it here, functions, and now come here. So okay, and we should have some elements, for example head 1 and learn functions in JavaScript. We should run it in browser once. You see here, okay, and now again we should have some, for example, another head 3 contents here. They are only the elements because we need them later, so now we should create them. Okay, and now we should start writing our JavaScript code. So you remember that we can put our script anywhere in the head, in the body, but now in the body. Please remember, in the body is a good idea because it cannot load a lot on our browser. So now we have created our script tag and we should start writing some code. So because we are talking about function, we should create our first function here. So the syntax is first function keyword. So it is function keyword, and then a function name. What is its name? We say, for example, say hello. It is a very simple and easy function just for learning. Okay, now we see we want to show some message here. Where we want to show our message, first of all we should see we want to show our message inside this one, instead of this one. Okay, and first of all we should give an ID because we want to access it by its ID, for example message. So document.get element by ID. It means that we should take its ID. Its ID is message inner text. Inner text means change its text or its content here. For example, this text, all from here till there. So we should say hello. Hello, welcome to JavaScript code. It is our message. Please remember semicolon. And now we have written our function. If we come here and update, you see no changes. Why? Because we have created our function, we have written our code inside the function, but now our function is not executed. Why? Because we have not called our function yet. So calling a function means executing a function, please remember. So we should call here. How to call a function? Calling a function is very easy. Only the name of the function and the parentheses. So we call it here, and now we can see. You see now our text or our content is changed into hello welcome to JavaScript code. But sometimes we can call it inside other elements. For example, there is a button here. It's a button. We say click here. It is the name of the button. We can give it no ID is needed. And so you see, for example, I do not want to call it here. I put it into commands, and now we can see. So I want to click here, and then the content should be changed. So it is very easy here. Come here on click. On click is included into the elements. We will talk about the later. Just here we should call it say hello, the name of the function. Please remember it should be the same as this one. No changes here, and the parentheses. So I've told here on click means whenever it is clicked, the function should be executed. So you see it is changed. It is a function. So for today I think it is enough, and later in our next session again we should talk about functions, because functions are very important. So for now that's all. Thank you very much, and again we will talk about function.